Welcome to the Aid Station. I'm Chris Robb, and today I'm really excited to be heading to Jakarta in Indonesia, where we meet Christopher Tobing, who is the Managing Director of Big Change Agency, and also is going to tell us about a charity foundation that he's set up as well. Welcome, Christopher. Great to see you.
Hi, Chris. Great to see you too. Thanks for having me here.
No, it's wonderful to catch up, and you've got an exciting story, making some really interesting innovations in the running space. And I'd love you maybe just to start by telling a little bit about the Christopher Tobing story of, a bit of your background and how you've got to here with the Big Change Agency.
Sure thing. I'm Christopher Tobing, obviously, as you said, from Big Change Agency. Big Change Agency is a management consulting company, essentially, that focuses on two things. We run culture development program for companies, and also we run branding marketing strategies for companies. So we help companies in order to achieve both things. Now, in the last 4 years, we've established this department called Entertainment Media Sport that focuses on those industry, especially sport, because in Indonesia right now, sport is a growing thing, and we want to invest on that since 4 years ago. And that enables us to be able to participate and help in a lot of sporting events or sports activations and see how brands, people, and athletes, or even everyday athletes, will be able to actually create value out of the things that they do, and both in sports or in daily lives. So that's something that we do that a lot with big brands or national brands or even multinationals as well. Now, speaking about myself, I started running. My first half marathon that I did for myself is in 2009. I did that with 2 weeks of practice over in Australia. That was probably the dumbest thing that I've ever done in the industry. But since then, I was living in Australia until 2013. So since 2009, I've always joined into mass participation event like half marathon. I also did the Oxfam Trail Walker, 100K walking distance. So, and then that Oxfam inspires me to create our own charity program in Indonesia. So that's why in 2013, with my partner Julian, we created something similar, but instead of walking, we do running. So it's the event is called Nusantaran. Every year, what we do is we create an event that runs from city to city, and each runner have to create their own fundraising, and all the fundraised money is being donated to an education program in that city. So far, we've gone through for the last 7 years. We've been going through cities to cities, and we're planning to do this for the next probably 40 or 50 years until we go around Indonesia.
Wow, what a great concept. What a great concept. And I guess in these days of COVID, easier to have social distancing in those longer events as well.
It is. I think later on I'll share with you what the challenges in doing those events as well. But I think it's very different challenges from an event with 10,000 people than an event with 300 people that is running ultra.
Yeah. Wow. Fantastic. And so you live in Jakarta. You've obviously lived overseas, as you said. Tell us what life's been like in Jakarta over the last few months.
It's been very interesting. As you know, living in Jakarta, you get used to meet people. I mean, you go from meetings to meetings. In between meetings, you're in a traffic jam. You do meetings in a shopping mall. That's the normal day-to-day life. And right now, everybody just have to stay at home. I mean, the government have there's a pros and cons what the government wants to do, but at the end of the day, I think everybody is promoting to stay at home. So that's what I'm doing. That's what our company is doing, and I think a lot of our partners are doing. And it changes a lot of the dynamics, as you know, from meeting people every day, every time. Now that you have to stay at home meeting everyone from your laptop. I think one of my biggest fear one day was when my daughter ran into my laptop, and I'm just making sure that I had to think for a bit that, is my daughter all right? But then the next second after that, is my laptop all right?
Laptop is right.
Because that's how we communicate with people. I think it gives us opportunities to think that now my network is not Jakarta, my network is the whole world. I think that's the mindset that we're trying to put in, because everybody's on the same page. Everybody's at home. or even if they're not at home, they're in a place that's secluded. They just everything is communicated through the internet. So we see that as an opportunity to network with as many people as possible, because everybody's on the same page. We're all online, and let's connect with people over there. So it's interesting. I think the fear have gone. People have lost the fear. I We know a few people are trying to go out and trying to, you know, just do work. I think the fear of not having money and the fear of not having health is conflicting with everyone right now.
Mm.
And I think that's the biggest challenge for the country and for everybody to make that decision, which is my priority and which, oh, what do we have to do? Including, in this case, a lot of sporting events, where a lot of people are thinking, which one should we prioritize right now? Or even, can we do both at the same time? I think that's the $1 million question. How can we do both? Safety, number one, but to have the event going as well.
Yeah, and you know, in a country where, as you say, sport is growing, it's football crazy
Yeah.
country, isn't it?
Oh,
You just
crazy, crazy.
hosted the Asian Games here. There's talk
Right.
about bidding for the Olympics, and you know, this huge group of a massive population where people are getting more and more engaged in it. And you know, that brings with it obviously opportunities and challenges, as you've mentioned. Talk
Totally.
about some of the challenges that you've faced over the last few months. You know, working remotely. You spoke about, you know, maybe you want to share when we talk about challenges of
Yeah.
delivering your charity event. But what are some of the big challenges that you've seen?
Where do I start?
Yeah,
I think the first one is communication challenge. We have to really switch our communication, because in our office we're a very tight knit. We're a boutique consulting, so we have 12 consultants that works very closely together, plus all of our outsourced team, and we make our office as a hub that a lot of our outsourced team come over and they sit over there with us and do a lot of discussion. Now that needs to change from to online.
yeah,
So that's one of the things that we have to deal with very early in during work from home. We immediately take action on. We have to do daily meetings. So regardless whether or not our load is high or low, we have to make at least 30 minutes to 1.5 hour of daily meetings, depending on the load, with our whole team, so that everybody knows what's going on, and that puts us into accountability mode.
yeah,
Right now, I think the hardest part in I guess I'm speaking generally, but a lot of people that I've spoken about, they're questioning the accountability of their team. Obviously that's a challenge. Are they really doing the job over there? Are they really doing what they're doing at home? For us, thank God, we've been doing remote work, I guess, even though we're working in the office, there's always one or two people that are working remotely. They're
hmm
always they're always working somewhere else, and it gives us the ability to adapt quicker into this situation. So that's one of the biggest challenge with communication. Now the other challenge obviously is the loss of opportunities. I have to tell you the truth that a lot of events are canceled, a lot
yeah,
of events are postponed indefinitely,
yeah,
and this goes both by the because of the policy of the government, because of the organizer decided not to do something, not to do it anymore, and they told us, you can't consult with us anymore. I mean, some events are sports events. We had music events that was canceled as well, that was postponed, and that puts us obviously as a company into a different place. That where do we add value after this? I mean, we add value to the event, or the original event that was offline. Now we have to start thinking of ideas saying, it's not, as a consultant, your goal is to give ideas. You give pathways for your clients to be able to find and to be able to execute of value. So that's when I talk to the team saying, we need to think more creatively. Let's brainstorm of new ideas, new opportunities that can rise up from this. And
yeah.
I
Great,
think,
yeah,
yeah, the other one as well is from sponsors. As you know, events in Indonesia, a lot of them are sponsorship heavy,
yes,
because s- sports events or mass participation event at any, whether it's sports, music, or whatever, it gives the it has a crowd, and sponsors loves it. We want to be able to sponsors wants to deliver their message. Now we have to think from the sponsor side as well. What is valuable for them during this time. Is it always have to be virtual runs? Is it always have to be an online race? What are there any other things that we can do in order to be able to give value? And I think we're still trying. We're still trying new ideas, piloting right now with a few activities. Was just off the phone as well with one of our partners, Pandara Sports, that about some collaboration that we would do with them, and because they have some ideas, and we promote this collaboration during this time. I think there's no more competition right now. So you would go to would call everybody and say, "What do you have? Let's collab with this and do something in order to create opportunity."
Yeah, no,
I think
collaboration is going to
that's
be
I think
key.
that's the yeah.
Yeah.
I think
And what are you
that's
finding with
some of the biggest
sponsors? I mean, are sponsors sitting back and saying maybe they won't be involved in the space anymore? It's not going to deliver what they intended, or are they staying with their commitments?
a bit of both. I think every company and every brand have their own policy.
Yeah.
We know some brands their policy is no more activation, so nothing offline at all. So they really pull on the handbrake and that's it. 2020, we're not doing anything until further notice.
Oh.
So we have that. We have a few that we knew cut their marketing budget up to 70%. So obviously, we would assume no more offline and everything goes to online.
Yeah.
We also have some sponsors that are they still want to do it. So principally, I want to support this event. But they're asking now. They're starting to ask question. You used to have X amount of people. Now you won't have that much people.
Mm-hmm.
So our value of sponsorship would be different.
Yeah.
And that puts organizers or even us in a position to think of the question of a new business model for these events. Because we also need to think about where would sponsors be with an event, with this new model of event.
Yeah.
Usually, Startgate, you have all the sponsors over there. You have the A boards, you put it on the website. But now a lot of that would be gone. Even race pack collection, it could be huge. You have everything. We could plan it from a way that people enter. You can see all the logos, but that's it. So I think new way of sponsorship is needed as well right now.
Moving on, which I'd love to, in terms of some things around leadership. You as Big Change Agency are obviously doing some interesting new innovations. What have you seen during this period of time around leadership that's been interesting? What leadership decisions have you had to make as the managing director of the organization? And any leadership tips to share?
Well, I think one of the key component right now, I'm quoting one of my friend here, is you have to be like a pilot in this situation where you let the people know that you're in the front seat and you have the 200 people behind you sitting and waiting for your instructions, basically. But when the turbulence comes, the pilot would say, buckle up your seat back. There's a turbulence coming. We're gonna get through this fine. And everybody would just listen and, okay, I'll put my seatbelt on. I know it's gonna be wobbly. It's still scary. It doesn't change the fact that it's scary and it's wobbly, but it gives you in a position of they know it's gonna be scary, rather than being silent about it.
Yeah.
Imagine you're in the middle of the flight and suddenly a turbulence hit. It scares the living out of you. But then if the pilot have already put on your seatbelt, turbulence is coming, and you can expect that. I think it's a key that you need to be able to tell the truth to your team.
Yeah.
Whether or not your organization is facing that turbulence. That's something that we've personally done in our company. We let them know, saying, okay, we have this project being postponed, this project is in question mark, this project is not starting anymore until next year. This is the turbulence that we're having. Brace with us. We have this thing. So I think we still have this margin to go through and blah, 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 blah. But the idea is to be able to communicate transparently with your team without them knowing the stress that you're having.
Yeah. That's a great analogy. I love it. You're the pilot. Buckle up your seatbelt. That's really fantastic. But as long as you communicate it, I'd love to end with an inspirational story. Obviously, I'm guessing you've seen much inspiration in your ultra race. You've seen much inspiration in other
Yeah.
areas. Is there a particular story that you would like to share to inspire the viewers with?
I think one of the most inspiring story that I have right now doesn't come from the ultra running or any of the event that we've organized, but it comes recently from one of my network. One of the best photographer, sports photographer, running photographer in Indonesia. He's called Andra. He he used to be the go-to guy for any sports events. They would call him up. He'll be at the start line. He'll be at the finish line. He'll be the one who's uh, videoing or taking photos of all the athletes. He'd be on his skate, bike, motorcycle, on the events to make sure that he can. That's what he's best at. Now he is being challenged, so all of his scheduled events are being canceled. And what strikes me the most was right now what he does is he delivers. He loves cycling, and what he does right now, he delivers food. He creates this new company called Sub Career where he delivers food on his bike. So he goes out to certain places and just get some the food out and do the deliveries.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, this really proves, and he actually have a podcast about this as well, that he says that you're blessed with your physique, you're blessed with your stamina. Why don't you do something with it?
Wow.
I think he being stuck at waiting for the event to happen and waiting for organizer to create the event. He said, you know what? I'll go on my bike. I'll deliver the food. I'm still enjoying it because I use my body. It's still exciting. And he's able to make a living out of that. And he now I think now he has more cyclists already joining him in order to be able to do that.
What a great story. What a fantastic story. Thanks for sharing that. It's a wonderful way to end. It really is very inspiring. Very, very inspiring. Thank you so much, Christopher. It's been great to catch up with you, and look forward to watching your star continue to rise as you deliver these amazing events here in a market which has got so much potential in the mass participation space. Thanks so much for making the time.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much.